Alright guys, for you guys starting out, this is what you call a Jrod. I hear a lot of people talk about using the remote downstreamers. You hear that fizzing? That means I got some good stuff coming in. So we're soaking all this down now. This is soap. Now, I didn't have to go back to the truck and turn anything or change anything. I'm soaking. And when I get done and I need to rinse, I'm going to change this tip. You got to, from left to right, you got a rinse tip, soap tip, rinse tip, soap tip. Now, the remote downstream injectors, I'm not going to say they're not any good and they don't serve a purpose. But for any of you new guys that are out there that are trying to get started, maybe on a budget, now if you want to use one of those M5 twist guns, yeah, you're going to need something like that. But just a regular pressure washing one, you don't need it. So I'm soaping right now. This stuff's coming off pretty easy. I mean, you spray something that thick, you almost guarantee you're going to have to hit it twice. It's been 7 or 8 years since this place has been washed, and it shows. So, but for you guys that are starting out, you know, those remote downstream injectors are great, don't get me wrong. But if you don't have the money to spend, you can get a Jrod, and you have your mix tank, just like if you use regular downstreaming. And all you got to do is change the tip from one to the other. You don't have to walk back to the truck to change anything. Like I said, I'm not knocking them like they're not any good. I'm just saying it's not something that you absolutely have to have, because you know, I hear a lot of people talk about them, and like I said, I'm not saying they're not any good. It's just, it's not something you absolutely have to have. You can get by with a Jrod. I mean, people were using Jrods for years. And, you know, when you want to soap, you put your soap tip on, and when you want to rinse, you change it to your rinse tip. I mean, it's pretty simple. You don't have to go back to your truck and change anything. All you got to do is just rinse it, change the tip out, just like you would on anything. Right now I'm shooting this roof. It's not bad, or the ceiling, not bad, but if you ever get on a ceiling like this, or on any ceiling on a porch, just wash your way out of it instead of standing in it, or you'll smell bleach all day. That's what I ran into last week. So, just a little helpful hint for you. But yeah, this Jrod, it works great. They're not expensive. You match it up to your machine, whatever machine you have. You match it up. You got a 4-gallon minute machine. There's certain tips for that, and that's how you do it. So I can be right here away from my truck. I'm soaping, and when I want to rinse, you know, I got 200 foot of hose, so it takes about 15 to 20 seconds for the soap to come. When I want to rinse, all I got to do is change that tip to the other one, and then I'm rinsing. So then when I'm ready to go back to the other side to start soaping again, I just start soaping. Really, really easy. Now, you know, that's if you're going to use this kind of tip. If you're wanting to use the M5 twist and, you know, some of the shooter tips, I mean, they're good. Sorry, I'm shooting the ground with you. I'm not knocking them. You can get by without them. I like that M5 twist because it looks like it shoots out a pretty big, like almost a cone style pattern instead of like just this flat pattern. So I think that would be that'd be pretty good to have. But I mean, even with my fan tip. I'm shooting this 2 stories up, so nasty, gonna look brand new. So let me get out there and get to work. All right, now it's not as easy as pushing a button, but now I'm fixing to start rinsing. So all I had to do is quick connect it, put the Jrod in, and now I'm good to go. So now I'm gonna go in here where we started at and start rinsing. Good rinse. Inside these porches, I always get a lot of dust. I don't care if you live in the city, country, smoke, don't smoke. This area is always prone to get a lot of dust. So most of the time I'll even spray it off, just rinse the dust off, because the bleach isn't gonna clean dust. So you want to get it gone before you can get to washing. But yeah, just look at all that coming out. Good mildew, but definitely dirty. And you know, as a homeowner, that's what you want. You want your house clean. You don't want all that there. So that's what we're here to do. Get it clean for them. And get the wind off the bleach. Just want to show you guys I was rinsing. I didn't have to walk back to the truck. I'll be still downstreaming. When I need the soap, all I got to do is change my tip. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody that use those. They're good. I'm just saying you don't have to have them to keep from walking back to the truck. I hear that all the time, and I'm really baffled by it. You know, like I said, I'm not trying to say telling anybody wrong. I just don't understand why you'd have to walk back to the truck to go from bleaching to not bleaching. So now, like I said before, like right now I'm using the rinse tip, and you can see it's got a pretty tight stream. It's a pretty tight stream. I think the big advantage to the downstream injectors everybody has is, you know, that M5 twist. You can use that. I think that's good, because if I let off the trigger on this, I just let off the trigger and it quits pulling. Those other ones, when you let off, you can kind of fan your spray a little bit with the tip, with the nozzle in, and that's good. That's a good thing to have in your arsenal. Because even though this is spraying pretty tight, I'm away from it, I'm not doing any damage, plus it isn't going to hurt it anyway. You can really get, see, that's just some red clay staining right there. I'll end up spraying that again, try to get it off from her, but more than likely it won't come. But yeah, those M5 twists are good, because you can change that fan spray, the spray tip, and I think that's a game changer in itself. You still gotta change if you're shooting high with the shooter tips. You know, that's just more money to spend. But what I really like about those is just that you can change that pattern. Instead of just a fan or a stream, you can kind of almost get a cone shape, and I think that could be really, really beneficial. So that's one of the pluses to having that. But I'm just trying to say you don't have to have it before you start pressure washing. But you know, can you shoot 2 stories? I could shoot this same thing when I had my 2.5 gallon a minute machine. You know, you got 1 story, 2 story, and then a peak up there. And I'm from the ground, and I'm shooting all the way over it. So I want to. I'm missing, I'm hitting it, everything I need to do. So even you guys running them 2.5 gallon a minute machines, you guys can do this too. You just gotta have the right equipment. We'll see you. I'm just gonna rinse from top to bottom, just like washing a car. Just like washing a car, top to bottom, top to bottom. I'm not gonna say it matters when some people say you gotta rinse or wash from the top up. And I understand their theory, but long as it has some soap on it, I'm good. So, alrighty, let me get this thing rinsed.